Well, hello everyone. So here we are, Sunday. I'm about to start another week. I just wanted to hop on here and see how everyone's doing. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit before I dive into what I want to talk about. Just see if anyone makes it on. I think I'm gonna run and do something. I'll be right back. Is anyone on here yet? Not really. Oh no. I'm just waiting for people to hop on and join the video. I thought we'd talk about goal setting and breaking the cycle today. I'm just gonna wait a little bit for people to hop. I keep doing that. Why do I keep... There we go. My week was pretty busy. As most of you know, I help run a towing and mechanics business with my husband, and we are working on some big changes in our business, and so there was a lot of paperwork to be done and a lot of paperwork to go through. So yeah, how was your guys' weeks? I'd love to hear from you about how your weeks went. I wanted to talk about goals and breaking the cycle. The big one breaking the cycle for me is I really am very... I don't know, that's a big one for me. I grew up in an alcoholic home, and yeah, so my dad, he was a heavy drinker, and then became addicted to narcotics, prescription medication. He was enabled by his mother and my mother, and was able to live that life until he passed away. He was 43 when he passed away, and that is really young. But he lived a very hard life. He drank pretty much every day. Um, and then at the end, he was abusing his pain medication. And he was a heavy set guy. He didn't eat healthy. He wasn't active. So, that took a toll on his body and he passed away. And then as I started to grow and, venture out into my own adult life, I repeated those same things. I drank a lot, and I started drinking at 13, and the only breaks I ever gave myself was while I was pregnant. And so I, you know, I was walking in that same path, and I walked that same path until I was 27. My addiction to drugs was quite a bit different than his. He, found his high in prescription medication. And I found mine in illegal drugs. So there were differences to our paths, but I feel like I just carried on in that same path that he had kind of laid out. And I feel maybe he thought that his father had laid out that same path. My grandmother, she was a very hardworking woman. And if you're just basing my father's actions off of his mother, you would not understand it. But if you look at his father and the life his father lived, it would make more sense. So anyways, like I said, I continued to go down that path until I was 27. And then when I was 27 years old, about a week after New Year's, I was busted. I was asked to come in for questioning concerning a party that I had been at over New Year's. So the cops, they were looking for me, and they showed up at my house and took me in for questioning. They had a warrant. And I went in and gave my statement and was just so angry. I was so angry that the cops could charge me with the things that they were saying they could charge me with. Because before I started using meth, which I didn't start using meth until, I was probably 26, just about to be 27. I did not use for very long meth before my entire world fell apart. But I had not used like that in my life before. And so when the cops were explaining to me what my charges were and what the possible consequence of my actions could be, I was just so angry. And so over the course of the next couple weeks, I had to take a very hard look at the life that I had allowed myself to live in. Because, basically you allow yourself to live in the circumstance that you're in. There are extenuating circumstances, but I believe for the most part that the only change that you can guarantee is the change that you make for yourself. I did not believe that back then. To be honest, I thought that I was living a life of my circumstance. But when I was informed that I was going to lose custody of my children to their fathers, my world that I had worked for up until that point fell apart completely. I had no other choice but to be strong. I had to reinvent myself, reinvent my life from that moment going forward. It couldn't be pick up the pieces and put it all back together again, because that was done. That was over. There was no picking up any pieces or putting my life back together as it had been. I could not carry on living the life that I had lived up until that point. At the time that it was all going on, I did not look at it like I was breaking any cycle. I just did what I felt like I had to do to get my kids back. That was my driving force. I look at that point in time in my life now, and I see that that was me breaking the cycle the cycle of my family. And now I understand that anyone can, not just me, but anyone can break the cycle. It doesn't have to be the same way that it was for your parents or for your grandparents. You know, like, you have the strength inside of you to start from today and change it. You know, clear your slate, or, you know, pick up those, I think I posted the other day, pick up those important pieces, and move forward with those. Because at that point in my life, I had so many fake things in my life that I didn't need to pick up every single piece and try to put it all back together, because there was a lot of it that was just useless. It did not serve me well. You know, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about concerning breaking the cycle. I just feel like anyone has the ability and the strength inside of themselves to break that cycle and start over again. Really, that's what it came down to for me. Just completely starting over. You know, and then I think a huge part of continuing on trying to break that cycle is the goal setting. And it's important to set goals. What I found is that you can't set goals that are so far out of reach. You know, I feel like the goals have to be kind of down to earth. And even some of those down to earth ones are going to be really hard to accomplish. You know, I said last week in my live that I wanted to be done smoking on the 25th. No, I've smoked like 4 cigarettes today. So it's difficult, but you just can't give up on those goals that you've set for yourself. So like I didn't accomplish my goal of not smoking yesterday, but I'm not going to give up. You know, I'm going to work today towards hopefully making sure that I don't light a cigarette tomorrow. You know, and then for me, trying to set a goal for my house, okay, because that's really like where my goals end up being. I have business goals, but the ones that are most difficult for me are the ones that are inside the walls of my home. You know, just trying to be more organized in my home life is very difficult for me. It's so difficult. I try really hard. So I started, I think about a year ago, wanting to minimize the things that I was bringing into my home. And I still try to do that. You know, I don't buy junk that I don't need, that will not get use. Which, you know, I guess is kind of an accomplishment, because I feel like I used to just buy random toys for my kids all the time. Like, we'd go to the dollar store and I'd let them pick out a junk toy that's going to be broke in, you know, a week. They might get a week out of it. And I have stopped doing that. I'm trying to focus on quality and not quantity. So when I go grocery shopping, for example, I'm trying not to buy something that's a good deal but really not very healthy. I try to look at, you know, the health aspects of the food that I'm buying. Plates or just anything that I bring into my home. I'm looking for quality and not quantity. At this point. Yeah. You know, so I guess goal setting for me is, the best advice that I can give is just to be down to earth with the goals that you're setting. Don't set goals that are way out of reach, but do continue to set goals. Even if you happen to set yourself up for failure the first couple times you set a goal, don't let that be discouraging, because goals force me to grow, and growth is a great thing. A person should never stop growing or learning in their lives. You know, I think that that's definitely a very important part of just growing old. Is just to continue with setting goals and working towards the life that you want for yourself and your family. Yeah. It's not very active today on my live. Oh, That's not what I wanted to do. I keep turning the camera. I don't want to do that, but yeah. So does anybody have anything to say? Does anybody say hi if you're on? I am not having very much luck with seeing who's on here or not. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Got a rat's nest going on. Well. Oh, it looks like I'm getting some people now. Hello, everyone. How is everyone's weeks going? We've kind of already talked about, goal setting and breaking the cycle, but would love to hear how your weeks have gone or any goals that you guys are working on yourselves or your stories of breaking the cycle or comments, questions. I really feel like, in my life, the whole of it, I think that, it's pretty amazing that I wound up where I am today. I definitely consider myself a miracle. I never imagined that I would have the life that I have today. And be working towards the things that I'm working towards, So yeah, I guess I hope some of you have some comments on the video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. I think I'm going to get off of here. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll probably see you, I think, next Wednesday. We talked about going live on Wednesdays and Sundays now. And so I think that that's going to be our schedule from here on out, which would be good because my Thursday night just got a little bit busier, and so did Amanda's. So yeah, we're going to post our live videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. So just watch the page because we'll be posting all week, and hopefully we'll see you on the next live. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.